It's not about teaching and educating our kids. It's about promoting an ideology and pumping it into their kids' brains. And so by the time they become 14, 15 years old, they are full-blown activists. I'm supposed to trust that these people have my kids and my family's best interest at heart. No, I won't do it. What's going on, guys? It's Quan, host of the Mediocre Dads podcast, where being mediocre is a choice and you have to refuse to be mediocre every single day. Listen, guys, homeschool your kids. I'm just gonna come out and I'm gonna say this: homeschool your kids. You know, I have over the past week, while on Instagram or whatever social media device or app that I've been on, I've seen things that have honestly made me happy that I'm homeschooling my kids. I've honestly thought about putting my kids into public school because taking some strain off of my wife, who is the primary parent while I'm at work. And when I see these videos, when I see these things that are going on within the school system, I immediately tell myself, nope, homeschooling my kids for as long as possible. And it's for the best. I understand that there are parents out there who can't homeschool, due to financial means constraints on the family or whatever the case might be. Like, I understand, but at one point you have to start taking your kids' future serious. And I'm not saying you're not, but I think that there comes a point in a parent's life where you look around you look around what's going on around in the world around you, and you say to yourself, I can no longer continue to put my kids in the system that I thought was in place to help me take care of my kids. A system that I thought was put into place to educate my kids. It's no longer about education. It's indoctrination, and it's hey, it's my ideology against your core beliefs and your ideology in which is being taught at home. And this is dangerous, because now kids are going to school being taught something, not what they should be being taught, but they're being taught something, and then bringing it home, telling their parents, you don't know what you're talking about. Mrs. Smith or Mr. Jones told me this is how the world works. So they are coming from a position of authority because they're educating me. So therefore, you as my parent, you haven't been to school in a while, so you don't know what you're talking about. My older brother, I'll never forget this. He came home from school one day, and my parents raised us up to be Christians, and he came home from school one day and he told my parents, he said, yeah, hey, so my teacher told us that we came from apes. And this a point of contention for me, or for my parents and my older brother. Like, they would argue about this. And they argued about this for a good couple of weeks, because my brother basically came home, told my parents, hey, listen, I know we believe in God, and I know we believe in how the creation of the world, how Genesis describes it, but my teacher told me this thing, that we actually came from apes, and they showed me a lot of proof that we did, and therefore this is what I believe now, like that we did come from apes. And my parents were a little distraught. They didn't know how to broach this conversation with him. But this is a prime example of what I'm talking about, where kids will go to school, they'll come back with a new belief, if you will, because their teacher, who is in the position of authority, will say, hey, they'll intermingle their beliefs and call that education. Okay, so I'm going to show you this first video from Libs of Tip Talk.
Hi, my name is Ulysses, and we're presenting The Story of Others. The stories of others, intertwining like brothers, trying to change and free from struggles,
while at the same time hoping for help under the covers, unrecognized by others.
We are all humans, no matter the race. No disgrace, we all deserve a place, and we shouldn't have to pick up our pace because a police officer is in our face or a crazy white lady's racist with mace.
We all are not thugs, and we all deserve hugs, and some of us won't even crush bugs.
We're getting deported by ICE, and I can't understand why everyone can't suffice. We have might, so we must fight. Just for our rights, look at the future and set our sights. Fuck ICE. Cooked, our system is cooked. Booked, our president should read a book.
Shook, every time we see an officer, we shouldn't be shook.
Look, we shouldn't be judged on the way we look. Light shines through the darkest times, no matter the bull. They will not fold if we all uphold. The stories of others, intertwining like brothers, trying to change and free from struggles. We can shine as we work together. And who knows, maybe like a phoenix, we will continue to rise.
So I see a video like that and I get frustrated because those three young men right there had nothing but good intentions. I'll be honest, they had nothing but good intentions. But then their good intentions were manipulated and for them to create this thing and say, hey, this is the right thing for you to do. And therefore I'm now going to make it a part of your curriculum. You need to make this thing, I don't know what you would call this, but you need to make this thing. And it, from here, you develop this thing and it's going to be part of your grade and you have to try. So now these young men are put in a position where they have to try. Again, I don't know all of this for a fact, but I can tell you when I see this is clear to me, right? This is clear. We're putting activism in the school system and then we're calling it education. And this is the part that frustrates me because I don't care if it was left, right, in the middle. I don't care. But these three young men should be learning about reading, writing, arithmetic, science. I'm not saying they don't know these things. I'm just saying that that's what the purpose of education is. It's not to create young activists. So by the time they're in high school or they're 18, 19 or in college, they're fully prepared to jump into the fight, if you will. I said this before and I'll say this again. I don't care if this were three young men or one young women coming to school with MAGA memorabilia on and making a video such as this, claiming that their belief in the president and conservatism and all those. I don't care if that were the case here either, because this is not the place for this. Also, these are kids. These parents are trusting that their kids are going to school to be educated, not to become activists. But this is the videos that you see on the internet. This is why I homeschool my kids. This is one of these big reasons. I see this video and I go, homeschooling my kids through and through. Because I don't know if you caught it, right? But they in the middle of the video, they said F ICE. I was playing Xbox the other day and I forgot one of the gamer tags for somebody had ice. I had the ice in there. And it's funny because, I was like, I said, I can't eat, right? Is as what the acronym of ICE meant. But then I was like, no, okay, immigration custom enforcement. And my friends were like, you had to Google it. And I'm like, no, I know what ICE stands for, right? Why I tell you that story is because I couldn't tell you for sure, but that these kids know what ICE stands for, right? They just understand that something happened, and they've been made to believe that it's their fault. It's the ISIS fault that these things are happening. Therefore, they are the enemy, right? You're creating this picture of like, this is the enemy, so you can say and do whatever you want because they are the enemy. And this is my problem. We have activism in the school, and these parents, I'm curious. I'd be curious to wonder that the parents of these three young men right here, one, if they've seen the video, which they probably have, and if they have seen the video, what are their thoughts on this? What are they? Are they in support of this? Are they like, what? Why are you guys? I thought this was for a project of some sorts. Like, I knew it was for school, but why are you learning? Why is this? Why is this? What's the purpose behind this thing that you're doing? What are you getting graded on? What's the topic that that has caused you to say we have to do research and figure out what this organization, this entity is? Why are you looking into this? Why is this a thing for you guys specifically? And I guarantee these are the questions that parents have, because I can tell you as a parent myself, that's the first questions that I would have. Like, I don't understand why you're having these conversations in school. Like that's not for your teacher to be discussing with you. Like, I understand kids are going to be kids and they're going to talk about things that they see on social media or that their parents talk about. But to tap a teacher or an educator talk to you about these things and say like, hey, this is what you make a project. And then the kids are clapping, because they've been taught that this is okay. This is what good looks like. Hey guys, I hate to interrupt your video, and I hope you're enjoying it, but I wanted to interrupt you real quick because, it takes a lot to run a company such as this, and to make videos and to make them appealing to you guys. And so my hope here is that you'll check out our website and our merchandise and making a purchase. ODA, Obedience Demands Action, it's a brand that I made and I came up with for the Mediocre Dads podcast here. And we have a lot of good stuff out right now that I would love for you guys to go check out our website and go and support at mediocredads.net. Have a lot of good things on here: beanies, shirts, hats. We have a lot of stuff for available, regular shirts and whatnot, that I would love for you guys to check out. Make a purchase, support Mediocre Dads. We're here, we're trying to grow, and we can't continue to do this operation without your support. So it means a lot to me. Go out and support, go get you guys some merchandise. And of course, guys, remember, mediocre is a choice. That's all I got. I tell you guys, we're in a battle between good and evil. And this is the scary part, is the Bible talks about how good will become bad, and what is good will be seen as evil, and what is evil will be seen as what is good. And this is the scary part, to see this come to fruition in this moment right here, because the educators, a lot of educators, not every single one, don't see an issue with this. And that's what scares me, right? I have another one that I would love to show you guys here that I think is important for you to see. Here, let's see. Hold on just a second. Okay, we're going to play this one here. You have kids going through a rainbow that, in this rainbow, does not represent the rainbow that God made, the covenant that he made with Noah. No, this rainbow represents LGBTQIA, whatever that long acronym is now. That's what this represents, right? And this person who made this post said, they're not coming for your kids. You're a conspiracy theorist. This is why I homeschool. There were several kids in there, and I'm sure you can rewatch the video and you can see there were several kids in there who were just kind of just going through there because, it's just like this, everyone has to go through there, right? To get to class or whatever the case might be. But they're recording and they're like, oh yeah, be happy. And the kids, I want to play this for you because I want you to see something. Hold on, let me show you. I want you to see something. The kids in the beginning, pay attention to the kids in the beginning. They're going through there and they're just dancing and they're happy because there's music and they're dancing and they think this is okay. I'm just dancing and laughing, enjoying. This is school. This is another one of those many days that we just do one of these things. They don't think anything of it. This is what I'm telling you guys. Like these kids, they don't know any better. They're innocent. And there's adults in the back and the adult recording this, right? You can see them. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, look at it. They know exactly what it means. These young kids, they don't have a full understanding of what this is and what this means and what's going on here. But yes, they will sit there and they'll be like, no, we're not coming for your kids. That's not what's happening here. This is why I homeschool. Again, I'm telling you guys, this is happening in real life in front of our faces, and they're acting as if it's not. I have a verse for y'all that I think is that I would like to share with you guys. And I'm going to start with Proverbs 22 verses 6. And it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. As parents, it's your responsibility to train your kids, to teach your kids what right looks like. And as a believer in Christ, me and my family, specifically, of course, I will train my kids up in the way that the Bible tells us to raise up our kids accordingly. I follow what the Bible tells me to do. I don't follow what the world tells me to do, because the world will tell you that what you saw in these last two videos is an acceptable way to train up your kids. But then also the world will tell you, if you want the 10 Commandments in school, well, how dare you? You're forcing your religion on people. I'm here to tell y'all, look, the LGBT stuff, that's a religion. That's a religion for them. A lot of people, it's a religion. You can't tell me I can't dress like this. You can't tell me I can't be who I am, who I'm meant to be. That's idolatry. They worship themselves. And I get frustrated because as a parent, this is what's being exposed to my kids, but I'm supposed to just sit here and let it happen. I refuse. It's Joshua 24:15. Sorry, not 26. And it says, and if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, choose for yourself this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I'm going to repeat that. Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I need you guys to understand something. I'll tell you all this, I'll scream it from the rooftops. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or about it. Because I know, I've seen the evil on the outside. I've seen it firsthand. And I refuse to allow that evil to penetrate and grasp and put a hold on my kids and my family. I refuse to do that. I won't let it do it. I want to show you one more video. Okay, I want to show y'all one more video. And I think it's important that you see this because this, for me, wraps it all up what I've been saying, what I've been trying to say. Here we go. Oops. Where'd it go? Hold on.
Oldest, and my husband and I have a difficult decision to make this fall as he is approaching preschool age, and we are faced with the decision of whether or not we are going to put our child in public school system where Fairfax County has decided to move forward with instituting gender studies in elementary school. Despite having done a study group, a focus group in the community to see if parents even wanted this. And when parents said no, the board voted 16-0 and said we're moving forward anyways. This shows clearly that they see parents not as partners, but as an obstacle for their agenda. And I have a really hard time looking at him and going, here, I'm just going to give you over to people who do not want to partner with me in how you're going to be raised. School and education is a huge part of a child's life. And early childhood is supposed to be filled with exploration and creativity and fun, not debating issues that are for adults to handle. These kinds of topics should be introduced sensitively and by parents who are raising their children with their values, not with an ideology passed down from the top. Hi.
You heard it. You heard it. And this is, hold on. And this is what I'm talking about. As a dad, I sit there, and when the thought comes to my mind of, I'm like, I could put my kids in public school. I want them to not feel like they're being left out for something that they don't understand. And I see what's going on outside in these school systems. And it's not in every school system, but it's in a lot of them. And as this mom was talking about here, where they did a focus group, and the parents said, "Hey, no, we don't think this should happen." But 16-0, that school board said, "Now we're going to move forward." They had no interest in working with the parents. She said it. They had no interest in working with us parents. No. They did the focus group. This is my belief here. They did a focus group because it was out of, whether it was legally or part of the school board practice or whatever the case might be, that they had to do. That it was done purely because it had to be done. And once it was done, they could justify their decision by saying, "Hey, we did a focus group. Yeah, we had several parents who actually thought this was a good idea, and so we moved forward 16-0 without doubt, right?" And this is my problem, because there's these people on these school boards and these school systems. They don't want to work with parents. They see parents as a hindrance. They see the parents as a means that are blocking their ideology. It's not about teaching and educating our kids. It's about promoting an ideology and pumping it into their kids' brains. And so by the time they become 14, 15 years old, they are full-blown activists, and there's nothing that parents can do to stop them. They told you. The news told you that abortion is healthcare. They said that a gender transition surgery is healthcare. So then whatever you hear every time on the news, they tell you that people want to take away healthcare. So they pull at your heartstrings. They transform these words. And I'm supposed to trust that these people have my kids and my family's best interest at heart. No, I won't do it. I told you I made my stance very clear on this. As for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. And how I feel the best way we can do that and how I feel the best way to raise my kids up in that way is by homeschooling them. So I will homeschool my kids. Whether that's when my kids are past school age and they're going to college or whatever the case might be, I don't know. As of right now, my kids will be homeschooled. I wanted to share this final verse with you guys, and that's Matthew 18:6. And it says, whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Sin is openly being taught as acceptable within the school system right now. This is a belief that Quan holds, that I hold, and they're teaching kids that sin is okay. You don't, you need it. It doesn't matter, but they're not calling it sin. No, of course not. They're calling something else. They're calling it. This is good, right? This is, again, they're pointing out something else and saying they're evil. They're the evil ones. They deserve all of this anger and your frustration. They're causing this to happen. Education is supposed to be beautiful. Education is supposed to be insightful. Kids going to school, learning something new, and seeing their brains work and how they learn. Some kids are hand-on, some kids are audible, some kids are vocal. They understand, but how they learn, but they're all learning, and it's so beautiful to see because they're learning in their own ways and they're growing up. And with what they've learned, the knowledge that they've gained and seeing how anything is possible, when they learn something new, they're applying that to the society in which they live in and allowing and helping their society flourish and grow. Listen, guys, I know I'm going to say this again. I know a lot of you can't do homeschooling, but my word, my recommendation, my word of advice to you would be try to find a means to do homeschooling. Find a means. Try to find something that you can do, whether it's putting your kids in private school or putting your kids in a again, in my opinion, a Christian school or a faith-based school, but faith-based education school, or I would even charter schools get iffy as well because they're still state funded, but even then, right? Like I would just encourage you, these public schools, don't put your kids in public school. That mom said it perfectly, right? How can she look at her son and just send him off and say, here you go? That's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from here. Okay? I think it's important that you guys do understand where I'm coming from because again, God blesses us with these little children, and we have a responsibility to them. That's all I got. I'll catch y'all next time. And of course, as being mediocre is a choice, and you have to be mediocre every single day. We will catch you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.